Organized chaos magic. Keep digging the hole. Going deeper and seeing toys. Toys are us. The question is, do you play or are you a toy? And what I see and what I perceive, because how would I ever say that another consciousness exists than my own? I can only perceive that most beings are puppets. They are toys and they are being played with. And this is probably due to the fact that they have never figured out or have been into the emptiness, into the black hole, which sucks and dissolves everything. And this also gets into alchemy and obviously knowing that you are an Ouroboros. This gets into Orion's belt and, like I said, the chaos magic, because I know that I perceive myself outside of myself, and I basically travel through my own whole, my whole eternity. So organized chaos magic means that I know my own paths. I know that I travel in my mind. So this is why I see basically all these signs and graffitis, for example, and what advertisements are. They are basically symbols and signs. And if you can decode, that means I know that each and every letter can be flipped and tricked and be organized by myself, because I perceive it as the observer. So that means obviously it does something with my brain, but I can manipulate that. I can manipulate reality and the fact that I can rebuild and decode the things. Which also leads me to the quest that if there are mostly puppets in here that are played by the players, I know I can create my own reality out of it. But the quest to me might also be, is it still just an illusion of myself? Because I only perceive it from my outlook, from my consciousness. So I could never really say that in this reality there might be another consciousness than myself. It's impossible. So I only perceive it from the things that I've experienced, meaning my experiences, and I can only perceive it from my mind. But since I kind of know how to decode my reality, which I would say I'm pretty good with, but still, I can never say that this is not a Maya, an illusion of myself, because consciousness separated. This is probably what happened, is consciousness separated itself in order to experience itself. Because from each and every black hole, which means the people have pupils, which they emit their own reality out from. This means that if we would raise the collective consciousness, the collective subconsciousness, into a higher perspective, we would consciously observe our own creation while we're speaking things into existence. And this is why I say it's so damn important to realize your own spellings, your own words. And this is why sometimes if I am with my girlfriend, if I am with somebody else, I just give space and room to let them talk. And if I'm doing that, I give the mirror the opportunity to experience him or herself through me. And of course, I could like throw in certain things, but it's like sometimes my girlfriend's telling me, oh, it's like I'm speaking to a wall. Yeah. And it's basically, don't you freaking get it? I know I'm speaking to a freaking wall. I'm speaking to a black mirror. It's completely bizarre. But I notice because I have gnosis. That means I have knowledge, gnosis of myself while I'm talking. Because I'm a king of my own consciousness. But it seems still very absurd to me that not many beings actually realize that. Because, see, I don't look at the mirror while I'm talking. That means I only create, I don't do it right here because I'm driving, but I would also speak with closed eyes. And just via doing this, become much more aware of my senses. Because right here, what it's basically occurring in this reality is that it is a battle of the senses, of the sentences, of mind. It's a battle of mind, of my head, of mind. Because if I would do this, I could flip around like, see, I could like shock my senses and my sensorical fields, and via doing this I release different hormones in my brain, which gets into stress and gets into the ancestral substance of melanin, which is basically the thing that makes humans black. See? And this gets into black ice. This gets into, yeah, black ice. It says it right here. You can't see it because it's too bright for you. This gets into black eyes, into pupils, into black people, into the Africans, into Kenya. This gets into alchemy. This gets into burning and cooking yourself and stressing yourself and constructing while you're under stress. See, and this gets into tension, this gets into releasing, and I noticed like through my journey how it started. And when I was learning kickboxing at 14 years old, I was visiting somebody who was getting me into a lot of stressing situations. You know, we were running through caves and woods in the dark. He was like leaving me alone in the woods. This gets into the Blair Witch Project. And so, you know, I only speak from my experience, but and then he sometimes left me home alone, and I was watching the Blair Witch Project, which freaking like shocked me. But you know, in the end, it's a brilliant thing that happened, because I transmuted these fears and these traumas, these stressing situations. I decoded my brain, and through these things, I'm much more stronger. I'm much more aware. I'm much more subconscious conscious, or conscious subconscious. about what I create while I am. And this is why I say organized chaos magic, organized spells create this womb where we birth basically as spirits, as souls, as dark souls, as black eyes. The black eyes which gets into the pupils, right? The pupils, we are all the pupils, yo. Don't you freaking get it? You are the black hole which everything falls into. It sounds so bizarre to you, right? It sounds way too mystic. It sounds like that doesn't make any freaking sense. But I'm very good at speaking conscious, subconscious, or subconscious conscious. Because I have visited the other side. It's like, oh, you decide of left and right. It's like, you never go anywhere. You don't move. I only experience my own consciousness. While it seems like I'm going somewhere. But if I would drive with closed eyes, don't do that. But you go through a vortex and you keep falling into your own consciousness, into your own self. That's basically what occurs. Because you mirror your own brain patterns. You mirror your own ideas. You mirror your own ideal standards, which are coming out of your mind, obviously. So you travel around in your own head, but only you start to realize that consciously only once you've decoded your own self. And I don't see many beings who consciously decoded their brain and mirror themselves 24/7 if you live under that spell, if you live in that calendar. What do I mean by that? I mean that I create my own reality all the freaking time out of my brain, out of my mind. And time is only a tool to consciously, or to not to consciously, to experience and organize the illusion of self. Because we are all the same thing. We are all burned black in hell, experiencing therapy of our own self, because we doing this all together. That's what we do. We mirror our own consciousness back to each other. And if you become more aware of your own self, what you basically do, then you start to construct. And I know that all these matters are basically empty. Because it seems like, look at this from a higher bird's eye perspective. We are driving around in boxes. We are living in boxes. That's what we are. That's what we do. And we think in this ego-numbed perspective, oh, this is beneficial. And it certainly is, because it gives us ourselves an ego mind which is comfortable. It's a comfort zone. That's good. But this is why in this society, like over here, like, are there like spiritual people with soul, with light, because soul means light. And not many beings have basically black light. That's why in my old room I had some black light when I was smoking the ganja. So I'm like, oh, yeah, but you know what? From an alchemical perspective, this is very wise, because you activate your green chakra, which is your heart, which is the balance. Life in a balance rises through the challenge. And then obviously, like, do not smoke marijuana. But yeah, you should probably. But whatever. It like this is real chaos magic. If you organize yourself, if you organize your mind, and this is done by titans who have been to both ends of the spectrum. And then you start to figure out that it's the same thing. And it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It does not matter because it's black matter. Black lives matter means black substance matters. And that's nothing. But it's also everything. Because everything is the same thing. So if like this is still this, it's a battle of the senses. It's a battle of the mind. This gets into imagination and magic and the subconscious realm and the conscious realm and spirituality. So how could I ever help you? I cannot help you because, like I said, there's only my consciousness, which is the collective consciousness. So via uplifting my own consciousness, I uplift your consciousness. Because if you would understand the black mirror, and if you would understand how to decode, if you would understand how to learn, you would understand that it is only, but only a quest of perception and perspective. Because these two eyes are fooling you and me either way. And to get out of this perception of, hey, I do this because out of an ego perception and perspective, which is necessary to survive in here. But I would say if I die, like dying means like literally die, not metaphorically, because let me tell you, I burned and was dad so many times. I'm your dad. Because I'm dad. But if I'm dying, I'm pretty sure what will occur is that I'm going through the black hole, which is my pupil, into my own self, into the collective again. And this is basically, I think, what this realm is. Although this is just my belief system, and maybe because this is my belief system, this is what's going to occur, because everything is mind. So yeah. So it's good to experience myself in this journey to and of myself, because it's hell belling welling. And so these are my words. I love you. I love me. Truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. I'm out of here.